removal on hold pending the review of existing plans to provide palliatives for Nigerians.
The earlier projected that the removal of subsidy when Nigeria will make fuel sell above 700 naira inflation by 400%. We join the Federal Economic Council to recommend that fuel subsidy fuel price will be minimal with importing from the international market.
Dr. President Buhari may ignore advice since they are just an advisory body.
I'm not compelling the president to adopt any recommendations. Their role remains advisory as such. We have seen circumstances in which it was difficult for the presidency to agree to court judgment, and the critical issue regarding the suspension of the removal of fuel subsidy is the fact that 2023 budget provision for subsidy didn't exceed June 2023.
Yesterday, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, spoke to State House correspondents shortly after the valedictory NEC meeting at the Presidential Villa Abuja on the advice of the National Economic Council that the federal government put the June deadline for petroleum subsidy removal on hold.
What I said is that it is not going to be removed now, which means it will not be removed before the transition is completed. That's what it means. But that we should exit by June. So if the committee work, which will include the representatives of the incoming administration, determine that the removal can be done by June, then the work plan will be designed to exit as at June.
She also explained why there has to be an expanded committee.
There will be an expanded committee so that it is not just a few people's thoughts that will guide the process, that there is sufficient consultation, taking inputs from key stakeholders into the measures that need to be taken.
As you may know, the National Economic Council is made up of the 36 state governors, the CBN governor, and other government officials. It has the mandate to advise the president concerning economic affairs, unlike the Federal Executive Council, which is the cabinet of the president. Reacting to this, the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC said the government should use the window to develop a timeline-based roadmap to restore Nigeria's refined capacity. NLC's General Secretary Ima Ogwaja said it is ironic that the government at last in concern for the people. He said it was a decision that should have been taken on go. On its part, the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria TC said it is commendable for the government to decide to now listen to the voice raising and suspend the planned subsidy removal. TUC Secretary General Nuhu Toro, who spoke for the union, said it has vindicated TUC because they are told they are party to the plan to be removed. Also, senior economist Paul Alaje spoke on this.
And we've seen a number of strategies government have put in place. What now makes of, how do we now explain the $800 million collected from the international organization to be shared to 10 million households, 50 million Nigerians at the average of 16? Is it handed over to some on the table? It's go to the National Assembly, obviously, to ask for additional budget, which most likely will come from borrowing.
With that, two bonds found in West Benin Mouthi Park in Port Harcourt early this morning. The Chief Security Officer of Nkolo Oroworoko Community, Mouthi Honor Diop Vigilante, Godstime Unwo, said the baby was less than 6 hours old and was rescued during a routine patrol. Mr. Unwo said that at the point of discovery, they were still wrapping clothes and the scent. He said he immediately called the female nurse for urgent medical attention to be given to the baby.
At about 3 a.m. Friday morning, while on the patrol, I the nurse of the baby was still wrapped with clothes and with placenta. I had rescued the child, called and given to the baby. Upon the inspection by the nurse, it was discovered to be a female. I called Prince Wiro, a human rights activist, who immediately came to my office and accompanied me to Mbolu police station to make a formal complaint.
Mr. Unwo appealed to the River State government to prevail on the contractors in charge of the alarms are always on at night.
I want to use this medium to appeal to the River State government to prevail on the contractors in charge of Equal Road street lights to ensure the lights are always on at night, as we have discovered the street lights are switched off most nights.
Scores of women blocked the road to protest in Rumalogu by Akaya, Port Harcourt this morning. They are demanding the safe release of Toya Okewali, who was whisked away by men last week along the east-west road. Police act fast free Okewale now. River State government please intervene among others. Speaking on this, the CDC chairman of our local community, Gitwaru, said they are not happy that the government has remained silent since the abduction of their son, called on the governor of River State and the Commissioner of Police and the state to ensure unconditional release of Okewale.
Again, we want to use this opportunity to plead with the doctors to please release him unconditionally so that he can be reunited to his family. He can be reunited to the community. The widows are missing him. The orphans are missing him. The students are missing him. School just resumed. There are those who depend on him for their school fees. So please, they should look at these persons and release him, free him unconditionally.
Mr. Wari said the committee will continue their peaceful process until their grievances are well rested.
The only way we can draw the attention of the Commissioner of Police, Health and State Services, the Executive Governor of Rivers State, Wiki, and the Inspector General of Police to expect action to see to the release and freedom of our uncle. We will leave immediately. Let us register our dismay very well. Let it go down well, and then we'll leave. I can assure you, the demonstration is going to be peaceful. It has been peaceful since 6 a.m. and it will remain peaceful. We will leave. But please allow us to exercise that our anger. I continue to expect that we will hear results.
On spot, the Paramount of Rumalogo community, Ignatius Ogungbada, called on the police to expedite actions to secure the freedom of their son.
As we've said, we complain to our communities. The only way they can do is by a peaceful protest. I plead with the security agencies, the police, DSS, and all other agencies to do more and see that it's being released. Not only to protect our people from being killed. I'm calling whoever is responsible for this.
Earlier, the DP of Ozoba Division, CSP Paul Obot, says the police has taken diplomatic means to ensure the release of Okewale. CSP Obot appealed with the protesters to reopen the NTA Choba Road.
We are down, we have to be very careful. To avoid collateral damage, to use diplomacy and tackle this menace. It's a menace in the state. Not only okay, people have been kidnapped this day. We are fighting. Some have been rescued. Some have been coming out. I believe okay will come out. That might appeal everybody here again. Open the road for motorists to pass. We are not relenting. The governor says that what is happening. Demand. The commissioner of police that we are all planning to.
No, lecturer at the University of Port Harcourt, Kala Ogolo, assured that Okewale will release in less than 1 week. Professor Ogolo said Governor Nyesom Wike is working towards the release of Mr. Wale. The River State Police says the police and local vigilantes intercepted a notorious kidnapper and armed robber, Wadi, and his group, who engaged them in a gunfight in Elra Community, MY local government areas today. The command spokesperson, Grace Ringe Koko, said during the gun battle, 2 members of Ward's group, Junior Nukube, also known as Kai, and Progress, were killed, and 2 locally made double-barrel guns, 5 live rounds of ammunition, coveralls, and a Toyota Camry car were reclaimed robbers. In another development, the chairman of MY local government area, Chidi Lloyd, says the man declared wanted by the River State government for illegal oil refining, Gift Ajuru, is not a personnel of any security agency that he be contracted for security matters in the area. Dr. Lloyd tells correspondent Emeka Otuka that it was unimaginable for Mr. Ajuru to allege that he was being prosecuted for his refusal to arrest a notorious cultist terrorizing the MOR section of the East-West Road. He said Mr. Ajuru is responsible for the illegal oil refining activities and other criminal activities in the Indele community. Dr. Lloyd also reiterated that his administration will ensure the arrest of Mr. Ajuru. Speaking on the situation in the Indele community after the crisis between the army and Mr. Gift Ajuru 10 days ago, Dr. Lloyd said normalcy can only return to the community where Mr. Ajuru has been arrested. He called on the army to ensure the arrest of Mr. Ajuru. On the issue of the burning of the home of a widow, Uche Ajuru, by a member of the disbanded OSPAC, Owuchika Egbo, in Indele community, Dr. Chidi Lloyd said he is not aware of the matter. Still ahead, Quad denies terror negotiator and move bail as we break. Thank you for staying tuned. Welcome back now to the rest of the news. President Buhari is expected in Rivers State today to flag off the construction of Center of Excellence and River Specialist Hospital, among other projects of IPREP. The coordinator of IPREP, Mavnikel, spoke on the visit. From the Supreme Court to file non-fresh grounds of appeal to a release of the leader of the proscribed indigenous Biafra IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, from detention. The Apex Court granted the federal government's request to include the grounds in its amended notice of appeal dated October 28, 2022. Recall that the Court of Appeal in Abuja on October 13, 2022 ordered Kanu's release from detention. A unanimous decision by a 3-member panel. The appellate court also quashed a 15 terrorism charge at the end of the court in Abuja. The Federal High Court in Abuja dismissed the bill application filed by the alleged terrorist negotiator Tukomamu, who was held in custody by the State Security Services. In his ruling, Justice Inyang Eku said Mr. Mamu's application was without merit and that the applicant failed to provide sufficient materials to move the court to exercise its discretion in his favor. In business, Nigeria's Governors Forum says it will meet President Muhammadu Buhari over the new revenue sharing fund put together by the Revenue Mobilization Education and Fiscal Commission. Recall that the forum called the president to send a draft legislation on the new National Assembly for the end of his administration on May 29. In the end, Nigerian musician Davido has reportedly purchased a 2023 Maybach Virgil Abloh for a staggering amount of 394 million naira. The singer also indulged himself by buying a lavish Patek Philippe wristwatch to complement his new 2023 Maybach Virgil Abloh as he continues a spree of self-spoiling. Superfan striker Asisa Trola has progressed to the 2023 FIFA Women's Champions League final after Barcelona urged Chelsea women 2-1 on aggregate at Camp Nou. It becomes the first time that the reigning African women footballer of the will play in the European final, having defeated it with the Spanish Giants in 2019 and 2022 and helping them to trophy in 2021.
Now we bring you news around the world.
Former Vice U.S. President Mike Pence has testified as part of a criminal investigation alleged by Trump to have done or done his defeat in the 2023 election. Mr. Pence had for more than 7 hours before a federal grand jury in Washington, D.C. He was issued testifying under oath earlier this year. The questioning by prosecutors took place behind closed doors. His appearance on Thursday came just as after an appeals court rejected the last-ditch bid by Mr. Trump's legal team to stop Mr. Pence from testifying. On the news this afternoon, you heard organized labor has backed next suspension of planned removal of fuel subsidy. An abandoned newborn has been rescued from a waste bin in front of Mile 3 Park, Port Harcourt. Sons of women are protesting in Roma Logo community demand the release of lawyer Oke Ali. Federal government has filed a fresh suit opposing the release of proscribed IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. On the foreign scene, former U.S. Vice President Mike Pence has testified in the criminal probe of former President Trump and Capitol riots. The news was edited by Martha Curry. Mostly cloudy weather in Port Harcourt this afternoon. Peace is the path to the prosperity of any nation. Let peace reign. I am Kalada Kurubatubo. Good afternoon. Stay tuned. Sunny side with Constance. In the studio of 92.3 Nigeria says police in various states are saying efforts are ongoing to take a new spin in front of Mile 3 Park in Port Harcourt early this morning to an orphanage home. Spokesperson of the River State Command will give more details to this. Stay tuned to 92.3 Nigeria for Side with Constance Mega is up next.